friends, do you know that among the 500 most successful people in the world, there was one specific trait they never spoke of in public? In his 25 years of research, Napoleon Hill discovered that secret formula hidden within the most powerful energy of your body. Today, we will learn about that famous 10th chapter of Think and Grow Rich, Sex Transmutation. Step 1. Knowing the true definition of sexual energy and the technique to shift it from physical pleasure into the fuel for success. Step 2. Why most men do not become successful before the age of 40, and how the wastage of this energy keeps a man average. Step 3. The secret formula of history's great geniuses, how they became immortal by transforming the intensity of desire into creative imagination. Step 4. Identifying the 10 powerful stimulants of the mind and why sexual energy awakens your sixth sense. Step 5. Practical technique. How to pour your daily intense desires into business ideas or works of art instead of suppressing them. Are you ready to transform that primal energy within you into success rocket fuel? Then let's begin the first step of this thrilling journey.
Step 1. What is the transmutation of energy? At the very beginning of this chapter, Napoleon Hill drops a bombshell. He states, sexual desire is the most powerful of all human mental stimuli. When this energy awakens, it creates indomitable courage, imagination, and willpower within a person. However, the problem is that most people exhaust this energy solely on physical gratification. Transmutation means diverting this physical desire into some other higher creative or constructive work. The core mantra of the first step is, energy is not destroyed, it only changes form. Hill says that when you do not suppress your intense sexual desire, but instead use it as fuel to implement your business, writing, or any big idea, only then do you step out of the ranks of ordinary people and onto the path of becoming a genius. This is like running the engine of success with that primal fire within you. Real-life example. The story of the great salesman. Hill mentioned a highly successful salesman who possessed an incredible power of attraction. Hill noticed that whenever this individual went to close a big deal or give a presentation, he would transform all his internal sexual excitement or charm into his words and personality. When he spoke, the person in front of him would become mesmerized by the influence of that intense power. He later analyzed that the man had actually transformed his sexual energy into personal magnetism. As a result, he was able to sell 1,000 times more than the average person. Metaphorical example: the river dam and the power plant. Imagine a mountain river flowing downwards with great force. If you just let this river flow, it might cause erosion in some places or eventually just merge into the sea. This is the waste of energy. But if you place a massive dam, your willpower, at the mouth of that river and channel that collected water through a turbine, your career or goal, the electricity generated from it can light up an entire city. The lesson? Sex transmutation is that dam. It prevents your internal turbulent energy from being wasted and instead produces the electricity of success. Metaphorical example: crude oil and rocket fuel. Imagine you have a barrel of crude mineral oil. If you just burn it as it is, it will only produce smoke and black ash. But if you refine that oil and transform it into rocket fuel or high-quality propellant, that same oil is capable of taking you beyond the earth and into space. The lesson? The ordinary desire of lust is that crude oil, and transmutation is that high-quality rocket fuel which turns your dreams into reality. A simple explanation from me. Simply put, sexual energy is a high vibration of your mind. When this desire becomes intense, your brain starts working very rapidly. Most people get restless from this excitement and release it from their bodies. But an intelligent person sits down to work during this peak excitement and pours that intensity into their task. It is then observed that work which would usually take 5 hours is completed in just 1 hour, and the quality of that work becomes world-class. Friends, today we learned that the intensity of your desire is not a sin or something bad. It is actually the raw material of your success. The science of utilizing it instead of wasting it is called transmutation. See you in the second step, where we will learn why men cannot succeed before the age of 40 and how the wastage of this energy keeps a man average for a lifetime.
Step 2. Why men often do not succeed before the age of 40. In his 25 years of research, Napoleon Hill analyzed the lives of thousands of successful and unsuccessful individuals. He noticed a strange pattern. Most men achieve their greatest success between the ages of 40 and 50. In this chapter, he highlights a bitter yet powerful truth as the reason behind this. The core principle of the second step is maturity of energy. Hill states that a man possesses a vast amount of sexual energy between the ages of 15 and 25, but he does not know how to utilize it. Between 30 and 40, he begins to understand that this energy is not just for physical pleasure. Once he crosses 40, his mind achieves maturity, and he learns to transform this primal fire into the fuel for success. Real-life story. Without taking specific names in this chapter, Napoleon Hill provides the essence of reviewing the lives of thousands of people. The story of thousands of failures. Hill noticed that many talented individuals in their 30s were failing despite their potential. The primary reason for their failure was that they were wasting their sexual energy in pursuit of physical gratification. They were unable to divert this energy into their careers or businesses. The age of success. He observed that the greatest industrialists and leaders of the modern era of that time in America reached the peak of their lives after the age of 40. This was because by this age, they had learned to transform the intensity of sexual desire into creative desire. Metaphorical example, the high-speed horse. Hill uses an extraordinary metaphor in this chapter. Imagine an incredibly powerful wild horse. If you cannot tame it, it will drag you into a ditch or kick you. But if you can tame it and harness it to a carriage, it will take you to your destination with unbelievable speed. The lesson: sexual desire is that wild horse. If you cannot tame it, it will destroy your life. If you can, it will become the vehicle for your success. A simple explanation from me. Mobile data and important file uploads. Imagine your phone is given a specific amount of high-speed data every day, your energy. If you spend all that data just watching random videos or playing games, then when you need to upload a very important file or project, your career opportunity, you will find you have no data left. The lesson: those who exhaust all their energy in temporary entertainment at the beginning of their lives find that when a big opportunity finally appears, they no longer have the strength or the spark left to fight for it. Friends, today you learned why wasting this youthful energy is the greatest form of bankruptcy for your future. Will you wait until you are 40? Or will you learn to tame that wild horse within you starting today? See you in the third step, where we will learn about the great geniuses of history who made the impossible possible through the correct use of this energy.
Famous actor Marlon Brando. Known as one of the greatest actors of all time in Hollywood, Marlon Brando possessed an intense attraction or sex appeal in his personality. When he appeared on screen, audiences were compelled to keep their eyes on him. Why? Brando knew how to transform that internal drive or desire into the emotions of his characters. When he acted in The Godfather or On the Waterfront, he used that intense internal energy to bring out the depth of the characters.
According to Hill's theory, Brando's superhuman acting ability was actually the artistic expression of his sexual energy. The billionaire, Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was Napoleon Hill's mentor. Hill noticed that behind Carnegie's success, there was not just intelligence or hard work, but a formidable vibrational energy. The secret? Carnegie himself admitted that the root of his business success lay in his mastermind group and his intense internal willpower. According to Hill's theory, Carnegie directed his primal desires and intense emotions straight into building his steel empire. The power of transformation. From his youth to his mature years, Carnegie never allowed that internal drive or life force to be wasted on cheap entertainment. He transformed that intense excitement into the determination to establish new factories and succeed in impossible deals. Hill stated that Carnegie's indomitable resolve was in fact the business form of his sexual energy. He used the volcano within him for the noble work of establishing thousands of libraries and educational institutions. Abraham Lincoln, Elbert Hubbard, and Albert Payson Terhune. Hill also mentions Abraham Lincoln, whose melancholy and later his massive personality were driven by deep love and the correct channeling of that emotional energy. He further lists authors and artists who created their greatest works only when they were in a state of deep passion or romantic excitement, transforming that stimulation into writing or brushstrokes. Technical metaphor, the radio receiver. Hill uses an extraordinary technical metaphor in this step. Imagine a radio. If its signal-catching capacity, vibration, is very low, it will play songs from local stations. But if you increase its power, it will be able to catch signals from long distance, from space or foreign lands. The lesson? Your brain is that radio receiver. Sexual energy is the power that increases your brain's frequency so that you can catch ideas that are beyond the reach of ordinary people. A simple explanation from me. Solar panels and batteries. Imagine you have a solar panel on your roof that absorbs the intense heat of the sun all day and stores it in a battery. If you use that stored electricity just to light a small bulb, it is a waste. But if you use that massive energy to run a large factory, your big project, you can change many people's lives. The lesson? Intense desire is like the heat of the sun. Storing it in the battery and using it for great work is what geniuses do. Friends, today you learned the true secret of success behind these historical legends. They weren't superheroes, they simply knew how to use the volcano within them to create light instead of destruction. Do you also want to transform your ordinary brain into a genius brain? See you in the fourth step, where we will learn about the 10 stimulants or stimuli of the mind that will awaken your sixth sense.
Step 3. The secret formula to becoming a genius. Here, Napoleon Hill explains how an ordinary person can use the primal energy within them to transform into a genius or a person with superhuman capabilities. In this step, Napoleon Hill makes a revolutionary claim. He states, a genius is someone who can raise the vibration of their mind to such an extent that they are able to communicate directly with infinite intelligence. And the primary key to raising this vibration is the correct transmutation of sexual energy. The core principle of the third step is stimulation and imagination. Hill says that when intense desire is created in the human mind, the brain becomes several times more active than usual. During this period of intense excitement, if one stays calm and pours that energy into their creative imagination, they can produce ideas or innovations that are impossible in an ordinary state. Real-life stories. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill mentions several world-famous figures from history who became immortal by transforming this energy. Napoleon Bonaparte. He united almost all the power and territories of the known world at that time. Hill noticed that whenever Napoleon won a major battle or made a grand plan, there was an intense passion or love for a woman behind it. However, he did not limit that turbulent emotion to physical gratification. He transformed it into the formidable strength required to devise battle strategies. Whenever he lost control over this emotion, his downfall began. Thomas Edison. Analyzing Edison's life, Hill saw that the secret fuel behind his tireless work ethic and thousands of inventions was the intense desire within him, which he applied to his laboratory's experiment tables. Famous athletes. Muhammad Ali. The greatest legend in boxing history, Muhammad Ali's success was an open secret tied to this transmutation. Whenever Ali prepared for a major fight or championship, he would refrain from any physical sexual intimacy for at least 6 weeks before the match. Why? Ali believed that the intense physical strength and the excitement of desire accumulated over these 6 weeks were released as punches inside the ring. The opponent would not be able to withstand it. He transformed that primal fire into willpower and speed inside the ring. This is what made him invincible. Famous singers. Prince. It is said of the legendary pop and rock star Prince that he possessed incredible creative energy. He could play more than 27 musical instruments and would record songs in the studio all night. Why? Close associates of Prince revealed that he poured his internal sexual appeal and those intense emotions directly into the melodies of his songs and his stage performances. He used to say, "Music is my sex." He transformed that turbulent physical excitement into a creative high, which resulted in every performance mesmerizing his audience. Step 4. The 10 stimulants of the mind and the sixth sense. In this step, Napoleon Hill reveals a scientific truth. He states, "The human mind is much like a wind wheel. It requires some external tension or wind to spin it. When any of these 10 stimulants strike your mind, the speed of your brain's thoughts increases several times over its ordinary state." At the very top of this list is sexual energy, the key to transforming your brain into a super receiver or a superhumanly intelligent machine. Here, Napoleon Hill discusses the 10 stimulants that awaken your subconscious mind. The core mantra of the 4th step is increasing mental vibration. Hill says that when we come into contact with these 10 stimulants, our brain's vibration rises so much that we can catch new ideas or innovations directly from infinite intelligence, the universe's storehouse of knowledge, through our 6th sense. The 10 stimulants of the mind. Napoleon Hill arranged these 10 stimulants in order, showing how they elevate a person from ordinary to extraordinary. Sexual desire. Hill explicitly states that this is the most powerful stimulant. It provides a drive that nothing else can. Love. This is the most beautiful stimulant of the mind. Hill noticed that a man who has an inspiring woman in his life possesses much higher creativity than others. A burning desire for fame, power, or money. Hill saw that for those who rose from poverty to become the world's wealthiest, that stubborn resolve was the primary stimulant for their brains. Music. Hill gave examples of many composers who, through the flow of music, took their brains to high frequencies to create immortal melodies. Friendship, or the mastermind group. Using Andrew Carnegie as an example, Hill showed that when a group of like-minded people unites, their collective brains become a center of massive power. Persecution or suffering. Hill observed that many great individuals used their brain's maximum capacity while facing extreme hardship. Autosuggestion, speaking positively to oneself. Fear. Although negative, it intensely stimulates the brain.
narcotics, or alcohol. Hill warned that when people try to stimulate the brain artificially, they resort to these, which ultimately destroy the brain. He strongly opposed this. Faith or prayer, absolute belief in the Creator. Metaphorical examples. Friction and fire. Imagine two pieces of dry wood. If they are kept apart, nothing happens, but when friction, a stimulant, is created between them, fire breaks out. The lesson: your talent is the wood, and these 10 stimulants are the friction which ignites the fire of creativity within you. The turbocharger engine. An ordinary car engine runs on just air and fuel, but when a turbocharger is attached to that engine, it forces air into the combustion chamber under immense pressure, doubling the car's speed instantly. The lesson: sexual energy, or these 10 stimulants, act as the turbocharger for your brain, increasing the speed of your thoughts 1,000 times more than the average person. Friends, today you learned the 10 secret keys to supercharging your brain. If you want to awaken your sixth sense, you must use these stimulants in the right way. See you in the 5th and final step, where we will learn the ultimate technique to practically apply this power, turning your dreams into reality.
Step 5. Practical technique and conclusion. We have reached the most effective and final step of Napoleon Hill's mysterious chapter. Here, we will learn how to calm the turbulent sea of your mind and focus it like a laser beam on your goals. In this step, Napoleon Hill speaks an ultimate truth. The transmutation of sexual energy is not merely a theoretical concept, it is a conscious mental habit. If you only know about this power but do not know the technique to use it, it will be of no use to you. The core principle of the 5th step is control of will. Hill says that whenever an intense physical desire or excitement arises in your mind, do not try to suppress it. Instead, accept that excitement as a signal. At that moment, your brain is in an incredibly powerful state. That is exactly when you must shift your attention away from physical thoughts and onto your greatest goal or work. Real-life stories from the book. In this section, Hill shares a special observation from his own life and those of his clients. The surge of creative work. Hill noticed that when a writer or artist falls deeply in love or is in a state of intense desire, their creativity reaches its peak. He gave examples of many people who might have been idle all day but driven by an intense emotion at night created their life's greatest masterpiece within a few hours. A truth from Hill's own life. While writing Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill noticed that his wife, Mrs. Hill, was his primary stimulant. He transformed his love and emotional energy for his wife into his writing. Hill admitted that without this transmutation, writing this massive book might not have been possible. Metaphorical examples. The wild river and the electric turbine. Imagine an incredibly powerful wild river. If left open, it will flood its surroundings and cause destruction. This is the waste of energy. But if you channel that water through a narrow pipe onto a turbine, that same destructive force will generate thousands of volts of electricity. The lesson: the intensity of your desire is that wild river. Do not let it destroy. Channel it into the turbines of your career. The boiling kettle and steam. When water boils in a pot, a lot of steam is created. If you seal the mouth of the pot, it will burst. This is the suppression of energy. But if you release that steam through a small hole and hold it in front of a fan, that fan will start spinning rapidly. The lesson: holding back or suppressing energy is dangerous. The wise simply change its opening or channel to turn the wheels of success. Practical technique. Awareness. Whenever you feel excitement, tell yourself, rocket fuel has now been created in my body. Diversion. Quickly sit at your work desk or pick up your most difficult project. Focus. Transform the fire of that excitement into the determination for your work. You will see your brain providing solutions 10 times faster than usual. Friends, today we learnt the most powerful force in your body is not a curse, but a massive treasure chest within you. If you invest it for your future instead of spending it on temporary pleasure, you too could be the next Andrew Carnegie or Muhammad Ali. Remember, power exists within everyone, but the world only writes the history of those who know how to transmute that power. Turn the fire within you into the light of success. Before leaving, a special request. If you truly want to apply the knowledge from any video in your life, take a challenge. For the next 21 days, play the video before sleeping and listen to it at least once. Your brain won't want to listen. After 2 or 3 days, it will deceive you by saying, I already know everything. Life will just go on as it was. But remember, knowing something and having it merge into your blood and flesh are not the same. If you listen for 21 days, this information will be etched into your subconscious mind, and then your body will start applying this knowledge in reality even if you don't want it to. Additionally, listen to some book every day for at least 30 minutes, whether it's on your Success Code channel or any other channel. Every top wealthy person and celebrity in the world practice knowledge for at least 1 hour every day. That is why they are in the ranks of the top 1% today. Don't forget to let us know in the comments how you liked the video. See you at the unveiling of a new mystery.